whys and wherefores of the community of practice for Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs. It has been said that Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs have less entrepreneurial experience than other immigrants from places such as the Mediterranean, Asia, and Europe. But how is it possible for born hustlers with expertise and skills to lack entrepreneurial experience? Whether the claim is fact or figment of someone's imagination, the implications for us, entrepreneurs, our communities, and our countries is to be taken seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the whys and wherefores of the community of practice for Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs. I am Megan Scott, COP founder and coordinator, business incubation and entrepreneur development expert, strategic management consultant, and owner of Magate Wildhorse Limited, an immigrant entrepreneur who hails from Jamaica. What makes me competent to lead this charge? Besides experience doing academic and professional competence, I have lived experience that gives me more than academic whys for change. Being an emotional support and listening ear for my peers have opened my eyes to the threat to families, relationships, our culture, and communities. Being a professional service provider have given me the necessary baptism by fire and a drive to act. Windrush, increasing decline and desirability of Caribbean immigrants have informed me about additional whys. As a business owner, I have a vested interest and commitment to make this work. It is therefore my pleasure to share with you about the community of practice for Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs, the COP, also known as the High Performance Entrepreneurs Ring. What is the COP for Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs? Myth number one, a Facebook group. Fact, the COP is a knowledge sharing, active learning, market, and research hub. It is supported by live face-to-face and virtual meetings. Using a shoebox to house a kitten doesn't make it a shoe. Fact, at its core are relationships of trust, information sharing, active research, dissemination of research findings, bridges to markets, creation of new market spaces, promotion of entrepreneurs and their stories. Myth number two, it is only for immigrant entrepreneurs who came directly from the Caribbean. Fact, it started out for Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs with Caribbean roots in all of the region's diaspora markets, as well as for Caribbeans at home. Caribbean entrepreneurs, researchers, academia, and policymakers will also benefit from the work of the community of practice. Today, membership is open to Black Canadians, African Americans, Caribbeans, and members of the African diaspora in the United Kingdom, Canadians with no history of business in their families, non-native speakers of English who are immigrant entrepreneurs in North America, Africans in Africa, entrepreneurs from all countries and regions from which the DNA of the peoples of the Caribbean come: Spain, Portugal, Germany, India, China, Europe, Asia, the Pacific, the Mediterranean, and so on, as well as for emerging diaspora markets such as the rest of Asia, Australia, and Bahrain. Myth number 3. The CoP is owned by Meegan Scott and Magate Wildhorse Limited. Fact, the CoP is owned by community members and partnering members. You can too. Magate Wildhorse Limited is the proud founding partner and coordinator / secretariat of the CoP. In a nutshell, the community of practice is a safe place where trust is built, collaborations, cooperation, friendships, and partnerships are forged in a marketplace and research hub for delivering dynamic and inclusive entrepreneurship for and by Caribbeans. It is where Caribbean entrepreneurs, their peers, and their businesses will draw on connections, knowledge, opportunities, and support to help them thrive and grow. It is a coming together of entrepreneurs, researchers, entrepreneur support partners, funders, and in some instances, industry for learning, sharing, collaborating, cooperating, co-creating, selling, knowledge building, resource mobilization, and skills share in the area of Caribbean entrepreneurship, in the entrepreneurship of member pairs, and for success strategies for our immigrant entrepreneurs. In other words, it is a community of practice plus a marketplace, a real hybrid. It aims to fertilize, to strengthen, to manipulate, and boost the entrepreneurial ecosystem, from talent through to markets, support, culture, finance, policy, and training. So what words embody the purpose and spirit of the CoP? Trust, collaborate, cooperation, co-creation, inclusiveness, big picture, sharing, integrity, sales growth, ambitions, fun, people, ownership models, caring, skills exchange, shared learning, building networks, networking, shared markets, risk-taking, tacit learning, door openers, connecting markets, tactic learning, skills exchange, inclusiveness, creativity, cooperation, curiosity, good practice, novel practice, emergent practice, best practice, innovative practice. The community of practice will operate like a pendulum, which swings from collaborate to cooperate and to collaborate, then back to cooperate. The predominant mode of operation will be cooperate, but that will only happen when we have mastered entrepreneurship. And even then, specific tasks within the CoP between members or overall CoP activities will require collaboration versus cooperation. So that pendulum will forever swing between collaborate and cooperate. Trust. Trust is a key ingredient in the success of our entrepreneurs and in the success of the community of practice. Co-creation is necessary for gaining experience, working together, and building trust. It is necessary for expanding, seizing the COP opportunity to expand the capabilities and market reach of each individual business. It is also important for working together and facilitating that meeting of minds that can lead to innovation as well as innovative practices and solutions that a single entity may not have stumbled onto or deliberately seek to find and to deliver. Mastery of entrepreneurship. It is about building mainstream businesses with that ethnic flavor. And when we speak about mainstream, we are talking about the scale. Big businesses that employs significant numbers of people and whose products and services are in demand and desired by mainstream populations, not just small ethnic populations. We're talking about cross-fertilization of businesses from home to host countries, within home countries, within host countries, and within the community of practice. We're talking about creating decent jobs for community by community. Who else is currently on board? 3 of 5 member passes have been issued to Caribbean entrepreneur support and research entities, plus practitioners. And they include 1 academic and action research partner, a graduate researcher and entrepreneur development expert, an entrepreneur and entrepreneurship expert, and 1 Canadian academic partner. Home to diaspora and diaspora to home knowledge transfer is important. It is key to knowledge sharing. It is also key to facilitating development as well as to facilitating the scale and growth of sales and businesses in international markets. That two-way learning also supports double loop learning. That's enhanced learning. Why bother with the COP? 1, there is the need to improve the social and economic outcomes of Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs and the community in all diasporic markets. 2, the lack of entrepreneurial experience is real and it stifles the growth of our businesses. 3, the need to close the entrepreneurial experience gap between Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs and their counterparts in OECD and other diasporic markets. 4, the need to better leverage the diaspora for growing strong businesses that solve big problems, create jobs, and grow wealth for entrepreneurs, families, the Caribbean community, host and home countries. It's time for a reflective pause. What is the problem that the CoP seeks to solve? One, the gap in entrepreneurial experience between Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs and their counterparts in OECD and other diasporic markets. Two, sparse markets and networks for supporting the growth of sales and scaling up in local and foreign markets. Three, insufficient literature on the practice, pathways, and processes of Caribbean entrepreneurship and the culture of Caribbean entrepreneurs in the diaspora and at home. Four, the need for more high-performing Caribbean businesses. That includes moving Caribbean immigrant businesses beyond the micro and small business categories with incomes less than $500,000 per annum. Five, the need to increase the attractiveness, desirability, and feasibility of entrepreneurship among Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs, the Caribbean immigrant, and Caribbeans at home. And in particular, the English-speaking immigrant who is least likely to start and grow a business in OECD countries. Six, the lack of experience in building business networks. Seven, difficulty and lack of access to community and traditional financing for businesses. Eight, challenges associated with foreignness, lack of confidence, and the perception of the color of entrepreneurship, especially as it relates to high-value services and other intangibles. Nine, the missing presence of the Caribbean immigrant entrepreneur in all our ethnic blends and diversity, and the need to promote and tell our stories as entrepreneurs, and the how of telling those stories. 10, the need for an accessible, vibrant, and connected Caribbean diasporic marketplace. 11, the need to speak the language of our roots and the markets we want to serve. 12, the need to build entrepreneur capacity in business. 13, the need for mentors as well as to close the entrepreneurship experience gap in terms of active learning, knowledge, skills, and resource exchange. 14, the need to create more jobs for Caribbean immigrants within our communities and to catapult Caribbean immigrants into the high demand, high income, high earning potential demographics, making the Caribbean immigrant a preferred demographic. 15, the need to improve the social and economic outcomes of Caribbean immigrants and their contribution to their adopted homes and home countries. 16, the need for rigorous quantitative and qualitative research for delivering relevant solutions for our entrepreneurs, as well as for serving as bridges to foreign markets. A real market research hub for entrepreneurs, supporters, and facilitators of Caribbean entrepreneurship. 17, the need for an affordable, accessible space for creating the change we want to see through our own commitment and actions. We're talking about the need for more symbols of the practice of freedom, independence, and power of our people and communities to chart our own destiny. The CoP is therefore a B2B network. It's about networking, learning, practice, advertising, market, entrepreneurship, and market research for Caribbean entrepreneurs and their entrepreneur friends in all diaspora markets. That includes entrepreneurs with Caribbean and African roots in all diasporic markets. How are we going to tackle all? We'll do so by creating a global community representative of the diaspora and its pair. We have mentioned who those are. We will focus on the domains of the challenges, the barriers faced by our entrepreneurs. We'll also focus on bringing together members committed to the process of collective learning that is oriented towards achieving improved outcomes for Caribbean immigrant businesses and entrepreneurs. We'll focus on practice, and that will involve investigation, research, doing, building networks, sharpening our knowledge in the various knowledge domains and expertise, harvesting and sharing practice, research and information dissemination. We'll focus on continuous improvement, and to get there, we'll engage in reflection on practice, articulation of practice to fill the gap that now exists as it relates to the pool of related literature. We'll conduct the monitoring, the measuring, the evaluation, the learning, the adjustment for improving the outcomes and ensuring that our strategy is adjusted for facilitating that. And in so doing, we'll also improve the image of the Caribbean immigrant entrepreneur. To sum up what I just shared, 1, we'll provide a network for sharing opportunities and knowledge. 2, serve as an audience for testing product and service concepts or as a sounding board for test shipments. 3, form a ready pool of professionals with whom others can collaborate or partner for service delivery. 4, share calls for proposals and business opportunities. 5, we'll help each other to get our content in front of new and potential markets and audiences. In other words, we'll exchange markets, both in real life and on social media. 6, we'll reach out to and visit newcomers or entrepreneurs visiting our cities. 7, we'll contribute a few minutes to helping each other by taking a survey, attending a webinar or event, attending a focus group, reading and commenting on a paper or video. 8, we'll advertise our services and products so we can support each other. 9, we'll encourage research and publishing. 10, we'll share professional development opportunities, speaking engagements, and so on. 11, we'll make virtual and face-to-face meetings for getting to know each other and to build trust. 12, we'll volunteer and shine, that is, swap talent for each other's business. 13, there's the CoP conference. So now let's look at the CoP member by categories. They are entrepreneurs with Caribbean roots in the diaspora, first-generation Caribbean immigrant entrepreneurs, large, medium, small, micro immigrant businesses, new, seasoned, successful, and retired entrepreneurs, researchers and academia, funders and entrepreneur support organizations, non-immigrant and non-Caribbean entrepreneurs. We mentioned first-generation immigrant entrepreneurs, but that is one group of immigrant entrepreneurs in the diaspora. first generation, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, any generation, as long as you have Caribbean roots. We welcome all. Who is our ideal member? Our ideal member operates a business that aims to earn US 500,000 per annum or more, or is currently a medium-sized or large business. Our ideal member understands the need to participate in market research being conducted by other members, is in search of partners, collaborators, clients or customers, mentors or mentees, is hungry and committed to establishing his or her credibility as a business leader, is committed to helping each other to succeed in business, is interested to play a role in improving the results, status, and image of Caribbean Canadian businesses and Caribbean businesses in other diasporic markets, as well as other CoP member businesses, is committed to participating in one of our monthly face-to-face meetings, whether downtown Toronto or in their host city, even hosting one in their host city, and to our monthly, quarterly, or face-to-face online events. The ideal member joins and shares actively in the Facebook group, participates in member-coordinated or facilitated events, and follows protocol for requesting and hosting member events. Where do they live? Canada, the USA, UK, France, the Netherlands, Germany, Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the rest of the world. In all the Caribbean's diasporic markets. So now let's look at the type of CoP members by participation and action. At its core, you'll find those members who are active contributors. Then they are the shapers. They are active, but they are not as active and as involved and even participating in things administrative as members at the core. Then a little further out would be the occasional member who drops in from time to time to read, catch up, and share. Then there is the lurker who sits on the periphery and just lurks. Last but not least is the transactional outsider who joins and merely takes advantage of anything from which they can benefit, but really contributes nothing. It's just sitting there and seizing a particular transactional activity from which they can benefit. Join us if you would love to meet, build trust, and learn from entrepreneurs in the diaspora. Join us if you'd love to get on the path to growing your business to income US 500,000 plus, or to sustain it above that level. Join us to be part of a Caribbean Plus talent, product, and services market and test research hub. Join us to find an audience for your presentations or publications. Join us to advertise your services in Canada and other Caribbean diaspora markets. Join us to benefit from insights gained through research into the processes and pathways of successful Caribbean immigrant businesses. Join us to attend trade shows and exhibition in a group and at group rates. Join us to discuss and get help with strategy execution, marketing, market and strategy development challenges, and to grow a high performance business. Let's do it. Share, research, work, and grow high performing businesses. Home of the COP. There's a Facebook hub. There is home events via Zoom web conferencing or other web conferencing platforms, mainly Zoom. Then there are the monthly week meetups. And coming soon will be a hub within a website for the COP. I've been sharing a whole lot, so now I look forward to hearing your questions. Coming up on Thursday, May 23 at 6 p.m. will be the Strategy Planning Charrette. We invite you to join us to have your say in creating the COP that you want to see and be a part of.